Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to go over another ninth Age Battle Report. I played this game on 11/8/2020. Just welcome. This battle was a new thing for me. I played Empire of Sonnstahl, which I have played before in small warband battles, 2,000 points up to 3,000 points. But I've never played a full 4,500 point battle with Sonnstahl, so I was a little unsure of how I would do. And I played Ben with Dread Elves. Funny thing, Dread Elves was also a new thing for him, so I knew there'd be kind of a lot of uncertainty between us. As I've mentioned before in my other videos, if you're new to the channel though, and you're not sure what Ninth Age is, Ninth Age is a tabletop miniatures battle game. Uh, right now, because of conditions in the world, we've been playing, or lots of players have been playing on Universal Battler, which is a software program that mimics what the game is like with actual miniatures. But Universal Battler is 2D, so it's not quite as, it's not like really playing with your miniatures, but here we are. I'm going to go over my list. This is my list. And I had a Wizard Master on Div, which is also new for me. The times I've tried Sunstal before, I always took either, I pretty much took a Master or Adept. With Warbands, I kind of would get away with an Adept, but I would play, I usually would play with an Adept on Pyro and then take a Prelate on Foot. I decided to go in a different direction just because of what the meta's like right now, at least in the USA. So I took a Div Master, and I took the Arcane Engine with Foresight, which gives Lightning Reflexes. Lightning Reflexes, of course, helps my Imperial Guard with great weapons and a bunch of my Flagellants. In the past, I've played more with the Arcane Engine that has Distracting, but I didn't take Div. I decided it was better to take Foresight and then just cast distracting with scrying from divination, which is what I actually did several times in this battle, and I'm very pleased that I decided on that choice. All right, uh, Marshal and a Great Griffin, Shield Witchfire Guard, a bunch of different items that just soups them up. A Marshal BSB with Great Weapon and Death Cheater just for durability, and then I took an Adept on Alchemy with a Binding Scroll. Felt like with Alchemy and Div that would complement it. They complement each other pretty well. 10 Electoral Cav, Knightly Orders, 40 Heavy Infantry. I just take Hand Weapon and Shield with the big block, just so they have parry, and then I can cast Scrying on them for distracting, which holds really well. And then I took 20 Heavy Infantry with Spear as a support unit, and I had the 20 Imperial Guard, of course, with great weapons. For Chaff, I just have these 2 Imperial Ranger units. I know they're slow, they're not like as good as Riders. I just don't own Riders, and that's not really the fluff of my army. I should go over the fluff of my army. I'll go over that soon. I had 2 mortars and then a whole lot of flagellants. Dread Elves. This is the list I played against. He took very MSU. A lot of pretty scary units. Dread Judges and Blades of Nav are pretty scary. Uh, so there you have it. You can look at it. I'm not going to read through it. Scenario. Secondary objective was King of the Hill and deployment marching columns. I don't know the map. The other guy, Ben, he set up the map and he just rolled things before I got there. So that's what it is. I did take some pictures of my models because with Sunstyle, I actually have some things painted. Funny enough, I pretty much only have the characters painted. I have some of my units are half painted. I didn't want to take pictures of them until they're actually like what I consider finished. So here you have my BSB Marshal with a great weapon. This is my, of course, Marshal General on the Great Griffin, which I need to put on a different base. I based it and then I realized I need to put on a different base. So I'll do that at some point. And this is my Arcane Engine, which if you look closely at it, yes, I took the Black Coach from VC, Vampire Counts, and then I bought 2 unicorns. So there's unicorns pulling a coach, and that's my arcane engine. And now I'll tell you about my fluff. The fluff of my army is I really love the flagellants aesthetic. And to me, the flagellants are just like they're like these proselytizers with the prelates. They're people that worship in Sunna. And so in my mind, they look a lot like monks. And so I decided if I'm going to have monks, I'm going to have nuns. So I've got my paint scheme, of course, is pink and yellow, which is why I designed the slides this way. And yellow are the men, the flagellants, and then my prelates are painted yellow that I've painted so far. And then a lot of my heavy infantry is also kind of painted yellow, though I think I'm going to put some pink on them. And then my Imperial Guard are actually all women. I'm using, I'll show you those at a later time, but I'm using models from Kings of War. And they're these women with flails. They're the Brazilian army from Kings of War. And then I bought these nuns actually from Reaper miniatures. They look really sweet. So I basically got basically my army is meant to be an army from a monastery that worships Suna. So it's Suna's army, and that's also why I use a lot of flagellants and don't use a steam tank, because the monastery wouldn't have a steam tank; they would just have a bunch of flagellants. So there you have it. And this is how we deployed. I got to pick sides, so I picked the top because I wanted the hill. Actually, I picked the top simply because I wanted this building to split his line. So that's why I picked the top. I had to pick a terrain piece, and I should have picked this hill, and I didn't. I picked this forest. So he picked this forest, and then I decided, okay, I should pick something far away. For some reason in my mind, I thought I should get him to spread his army out because this is what the logic was in my head. It doesn't really work, but this is what was going through my head when I picked this. I thought to myself, Dread Elves are model for model more elite than my humans. So if I just pick this hill, then he can just march across and go right through my humans and take it. In reality, it also depends on the unit size. As the battle played out, he really had no way to actually deal with um, blocks of flagellants and this big unit of heavy infantry. And I should have just put the scenario here, but I didn't. I was stupid. So all I have defending it is a block of flagellants. I thought he would have to throw a fair amount at it to take this, which I was kind of true about. And, oh, we didn't put scouts down, so here we go. The next slide, these are scouts. So I put my scouts over here because I figure with flagellants holding the objective, 2 units of scouts and a mortar, he's going to have to throw a lot to actually take the objective. And then he's not going to have enough. I knew I could just waltz in and take his objective. He wouldn't be able to defend it. So, and then I figured I'd have my general and my knights in the middle because they're the most mobile things in the list, so they can go to either side because I didn't know how he would deploy. So here we go. I just push forward with my guys on turn 1. I figured I would defend the wall, so if he wants to come forward, I already have distracting from the wall, and I don't need to cast it on the heavy infantry. And I should have probably pushed my knights up more, and I didn't. I was too timid with them. They do have stalker standard, so that's why they're in the ruins. They don't care about that. All right. Then I did shooting. My mortar shot and blasted this unit here. That's the thing with his MSU. And then I also did a Quicksilver Lash, I think, and I killed a couple Dread Judges. So these were Blades and Nab. Killed 6 Blades and Nab with a mortar shot. And with Quicksilver Lash, I took out 2 Dread Judges. My other mortar misfired and it jammed. So I actually, on turn 1, I only had 1 mortar that could fire. I did put Stars Align on it, which was good. But the other mortar jammed and I wasn't able to use it the whole game. It happens pretty frequently with me. That's how it be. And then shooting. I shot and put some wounds on his Medusa. And then it was his turn. So he pushed forwards with his Medusa on this side, Blades and Nab. He just kind of kept these guys back. I think he was wary of my knights, and then he tried to shoot me on this side. So yeah, I'm not gonna go through all these spells. I did took a lot of screenshots, so I don't remember all his spells. He didn't have very good spell phases the first two phases. Then okay, on my turn two, I actually tried to charge. I tried to charge my flagellants into his Medusa. I tried to charge the big block of flagellants into his scouts here, the Ravencloaks, and I tried to charge the heavy infantry into his blades of nab. Um, and then I charged my griffin into his Medusa. The only person that made it was the Medusa. I think I rolled sevens on most of my charges, and I needed an eight. So I rolled average, and maybe I shouldn't have taken those charges, but I see a lot of people that take charges where they need to roll a 10 and they make it. So I decided if I needed an 8, it was worth it. Yeah, just a little bit of bad luck there is what it is. Then I decided, okay, I need to push forwards. I came forwards. I don't I don't know what I was thinking with I should have measured the distance from this heavy infantry unit because I was using this as a bunker. I missed deployed this. It was marching columns, so it was hard to deploy. Um, anyway, spell phase. I don't remember. Anyway, my Griffin, of course, killed their Medusa. And then I tried to do an overrun so that I could hit his single adept, but we ran into this roll issue where I came within an inch of the building before I would contact the adept, and so my opponent said that because you come within an inch of impassable before you would contact him, you're not able to do an overrun charge into him. I looked it up and it looked like he was right. To me, it seems a little cheap because then you could just hide units like this next to the impassable. Impassable should be a detriment, and he was using it to his benefit. I didn't like that. The roll is probably right. It just gets into all these little funny things in the game where very clearly I should have been able to overrun and hit him, but because of the 1 inch roll and impassable, I wasn't able to, which left me very frustrated. My shooting, the scouts didn't really do that much else. He then charged. He did a whole lot of charges. He took his Medusa, Dread Judges, and his assassin charged out into the Imperial Guard. He flank charged me with Corsairs into the Griffin, though I wasn't that worried about that. I was pretty confident I'd be okay. Uh, and that was it. Then he just pushed forward in this side to entrap me. All right. Then his Ravencloak shot my Flagellants. Again, I don't remember what spells he was casting. Oh, you can see his Dread Reapers are shooting my Arcane Engine. I never targeted the Reapers with my mortar. I was trying to target other units because I knew like one mortar shot on his MSU army would just kind of wreck these units. So I was trying to do that. All right, this is at the end of combat, so you can see my Griffin killed 6 Corsairs. They did get a wound through, but that's because I forgot I had Ghostly Guard on the Griffin. So I really had a 1-up, 5-up, and I forgot that I had Ghostly Guard. So I was only rolling 3-up armor saves instead of 1-up armor saves. So I think I would have saved that wound. That was something I forgot the whole battle because I haven't played with this list before. Or this build. I've never used the Great Griffin before. So anyway, Imperial Guard did well. They got chewed up by a lot of Dread Judges. His assassin fluffed against my Marshal, which was amazing. Really bad for him and great for me. And then I just had everything left attacked the Dread Judges because they were the scariest thing there. I mean, the assassin was pretty scary, but I figured I should try to take out the Dread Judges and force him to take a break test. I think I actually lost combat, but because I had Guiding Light and stuff on me, I was just fine. Alright. Then on my turn, I try to charge again, right? So I have red lines here. I'm putting Flagellants into the Medusa because I don't want to take any chances. I want to make sure I finish up this combat here. Big unit of Flagellants into his Blades of Nab. I know that he's gonna cut me up, but once I clear them, I know I can pretty much I have this side. And then I try to charge with these Flagellants into these Blades of Nab, which I'm not really sure why I was. I don't know why I was doing that, but anyway. Oh, I think I failed a frenzy check on them, actually. That makes sense. I think I failed a frenzy check. But Flagellants failed their charge, thankfully. And of course, Flagellants make it in over here, which is great. I turn my heavy infantry because I realize I'm going to need to push onto this side. So there we have it. Combats. Oh, and I actually also charged my knights in the Corsairs. I was very disappointed about this. 10 knights with the champion. I only killed 4 Corsairs. And actually, the horses did, I think, half of those wounds. And they didn't break because they're within range of his Discipline 10 rerollable with BSB. His general and BSB are just sitting back here in Raptor Chariots. So he had Discipline 10 rerollable in the middle of the field, and I couldn't break his Corsairs. Yeah, not happy about that. Flagellants, big block, lost a bunch, but then I just wrecked the whole unit of Blades and Nab. That's what I love about Flagellants. And then I try to chaff with my scouts up here. So then he does his charges. Oh, what happened? Okay. So he charges his Blades and Nab into my Flagellants here. He charges his Dread Chargers into the flank of my Cav. And that's it. Right? I don't know why I had to zoom in. So he keeps shooting his Reapers at my Arcane Engine. Really whittling it down. Of course, his Dread Judges just destroy my Knights. I think they didn't like outright kill him. I think I had one left, and of course he broke, and he overran with the Corsairs. Ends up here, and this is where I do the stupidest thing in the battle. So my heavy infantry charged this Dread Judges unit, and they actually flee. And I elect to pursue instead of redirecting. And then I charge with my Griffin into the flank of the Corsairs. And in my mind, I thought to myself, I'm just going to run right through that unit and then overrun and end up over here outside of his charge arc. And I'm going to be just fine. Well, no. I charge in and he issues a duel. So I kill his champion and then he's still steadfast because he has a rank. So now my Griffin is stuck here with the flank facing what's left of his army. Yeah, I always forget about duels. That was very frustrating. My plan before I charged in there was, let me go back. My plan was to fly over here by the hill because I have a fly of 16. And I knew at this point my Flagellants were going to do okay against the Blades and Nab, but I knew I wouldn't have enough left to protect against these Corsairs from coming and scoring. So my plan otherwise was to fly over here, because this is turn 3. I figure on turn 3 I could fly over here. Turn 4, fly over here. Turn 5, charge the Corsairs and eliminate them and prevent them from scoring. Or, turn 5 or 6, I was going to be able to prevent him from scoring. Because that's all he has over here now. These guys are facing the wrong way. They're not going to get there in time. But I was stupid and decided to eliminate these Corsairs. They weren't really that big of a threat. I should have just left them. I should have flown off to protect the objective, and I didn't. So anyway, so on his turn, of course, he puts a ton of Dread Judges into my flank. And I just keep bringing my Imperial Guard down. They're going to score here. They're going to just take this. Flagellants are cleaning up his Reapers slowly. Alright. Yeah, a previous turn he had charged with his Medusa. And my Scouts had taken it out. The scouts were really good against the Medusas because they have shots too against beasts. Otherwise, they did very little, the Rangers. So, not sure if I'll keep taking them or not. Alright, then of course he kills my Griffin and overruns into my Imperial Guard. So, yeah, which is now, I'm too far away from the BSB for orders, which is an issue. So on my turn, I tried to charge with my Flagellants into the flank of his judges. I failed. I tried to get my Arcane Engine close enough. You can see I only have one wound left on the Arcane Engine. But now I've got my Flagellants into this other Reaper, so that's not as much of an issue. Uh, now I only have... Oops. I think I only have 3 Flagellants left, and I know these Corsairs are going to take this objective, and I'm just kicking myself for not flying my Griffin over there. Anyway, he starts grinding through my heavy infantry, but with the way that things are working, I get scrying off because he keeps stopping. I forgot a couple turns that I had the bounce spell, Ice and Fire on the Arcane Engine. Once I realized that and I tried to cast that, that's what he was saving his dice for. So I was able to keep getting scrying off because he really wanted to stop Ice and Fire from going into his Dread Judges here. Fine with me, I'd rather have scrying. He just chews through. I finally on turn 6 get my Flagellants in here. Brought my Arcane Engine up to give a 6-inch foresight. Which I think I forgot about for +1 to hit for the heavy infantry, but whatever. Um, and then I try to chaff him with my lone flagellant. I know it's not going to work, but anyway, he puts his other judges in. They of course win and break. He had repeating crossbows on his characters here, and they were finally able to put the final wound on my Arcane Engine. So I lost the Arcane Engine, which was a bunch of points. I should have just kept it back, I think, towards the end of the game and not risked it, but I wanted foresight. It really wasn't, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. I should have just kept it back. And that's it. So we ended up with 11-9. I'll go back to the end screen because I scored. I took his terrain. He took my terrain. So we tied an objective. Because he had killed my general and he killed my Arcane Engine, it ended up pretty close, 11-9. It was like only like a 262 point difference or something. Again, kicking myself for losing my general like that. I probably shouldn't have deployed so heavily, but having not played Empire that much, I figured it was an army unlike Sylvanos, who I'm used to playing. Empire seems to need to stay close-knit because they need the leadership bubbles of the BSB and the general. So that's why I put it out here. Anyway, so it was 11-9, but I was quite pleased because this is the first time I use this and I got an 11. I've been playing Sylvanos for a while and I very rarely get a score like that. So I'm going to stick with Empire for a while, and I might start painting some more of it because now that I had fun playing them. Regardless of my score, I had fun playing them. I am tweaking my list a little for next round. I already tweaked it. I'm not sure what I'm going to play my next battle, probably the next couple days. I took out the Cav because I figure if 10 Cav can't kill and overrun 10 Corsairs, I don't want to use them. Like, that's what I want to use Cav for. They couldn't do it. Cav needs to be used in a different way for outflanking and charging a flank. But anyway, I tweaked my list. You'll see it next time. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions about Ninth Age and how to actually play, visit the Ninth Age. I think it's .com. I'll put the link in the description below for you guys. I know a lot of you already play Ninth Age, and that's why you watch. I appreciate all your support, and I hope that you guys are having fun painting and playing just as much as I am. Thanks. Have a great day.